guys, I'm gonna make a quick little video today. Try not to drag this out too long, but it's a topic that came up with the client today. It's something I see way more than I should, and I'm a pretty observant guy, at least when it comes to, well, you know, anything involving the physique enhancement, but especially like the psych side of things. You know, I just notice trends and how people click and what makes people click, and it's obviously useful in my job. But one thing, you know, what we were talking about today was people that compete that just don't enjoy competing, and there's tons of them. You know, they enjoy components of competing, they enjoy certain parts of competing, they enjoy the idea of competing. And don't get me wrong, like, you're not going to enjoy every single thing when it comes to getting ready for a competition. You're just not. And there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. That's absolutely fine. But if you find yourself not liking the majority of the process, then why do it? This is not a job. This is not something that pays your bills. This is not something that you have to do. I have, and it probably sounds weird coming from me since I prep people for a living, but I also have tons of general pop clients, you know, that don't compete, and they're some of my best clients, and they're some of the happiest clients, I should say. That's not to say that I don't have happy competitors, because I definitely do. But you, deep down, you genuinely have to enjoy the process and have to enjoy competing. And granted, what people have to do to get in shape to compete is going to vary person to person, and it can vary, you know, quite a bit. And that obviously plays into the mental side of things and how difficult it is. It's so easy to fall into that category of just bitching and moaning and complaining and feeling sorry for yourself and just waiting for the end, counting down, thinking about everything other than the actual show itself, thinking about what you're going to eat afterwards, thinking about everything, basically just getting through it. And I understand that to an extent. But if you're truly miserable in what you're doing, and there's plenty of people that are, trust me, then don't do it. You know, it's just not, there's really no reason to do it at that point. It's in the act of actually competing and getting on stage and being in that kind of condition is not particularly healthy anyhow. You know, you're taking the health component out when you get to that point anyhow. So I mean, I would argue why do it. And there's some reasons. I think a lot of people just have themselves fooled that it is something that they like. They identify with it, and they think that if they don't do it, then they aren't a bodybuilder, or they aren't, you know, whatever. When in reality, it doesn't really make that much difference at the end of the day. It really doesn't. It doesn't. It's not going to. It's not going to ruin your social media following, or it's not going to ruin your life. It's just not. So, you know, if you are one of those people that constantly finds yourself just being more negative than they are positive when it comes to competing, then I would probably ask yourself that question, that of why do you compete? Somebody told me the other day, and you know, you guys that follow me, you know, my preps get pretty brutal, and it is extremely easy to just let my mind wander into that place of, you know, all the negative stuff, because it is really hard. And it's hard when you don't feel, like, when you feel just genuinely bad every day type of thing. I mean, not a lot of people really enjoy that per se, but understand that it's a necessary component of what they're doing, you know, and then you find the enjoyment in that. But somebody asked, you know, how I get through it without complaining, and, well, I mean, trust me, I'm sure I'm not an angel, I'm not perfect. I'm sure I've complained. I've probably complained to my wife, but, you know, jokingly or whatever. But, you know, it's my choice. It's not something that anyone's forcing me to do. I'm fully aware of, I've prepped, you know, 10 times, something like that. So, you know, it's not like I don't know what's going to happen in the prep. Whether, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it all pretty much pans out the same way in the end. I pretty much know what's going to happen. So, you know, I'm signing up for it. I'm not thinking about, I'm not thinking about just trying to get through it. I'm not thinking about just like, planning all my shit afterwards. I'm not thinking about how great the next offseason is going to be. Yeah, and those things cross my mind because I do plan ahead and I want to be strategic, but at the same time, I'm in it to win and compete, and it's not, there's nothing else, it's not, I don't dislike it. I don't dislike the fact that I have to do, hour and a half, 2 hours of cardio and hit cardio and eat nothing and all that. Why? Because I know that it's a necessary component of my success, and I think if you don't have that perspective, then you probably just shouldn't compete. You can be perfectly happy, be in great shape, stay healthy, do all of those things that you want to do without actually competing and going to that extra 5% that pushes your mind and your body into that place. So, like I said, if you are one of those people that find yourself just genuinely unhappy a majority of the time, then don't compete, and please don't complain.